Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our sixth book review. So, on every Friday, if you have been following us, you would have noticed we post one book review for children on every Friday. So, hoping that all of you were looking forward to the one that we have for today. So, the one that we have for all of you today is a book called Growing Up in Pandupur. It's slightly a different book from the ones that we have already reviewed. Mostly the books that we have reviewed were for children, young children. This is for children who are above the age 9 onwards, up till 12, they could read this book. So, Growing Up in Pandipur is the book that we have chosen is a abridged school version written by Adhiti and Chatura Rao. So it's an anthology of stories with alternate stories written by Aditi and Chatura. So this abridged version has seven stories in it. So and what does the story revolve around? The very title of the book tells us that it's definitely a place called Pandupur. And is this place real? No. So it's a fictional town. And these stories that both of them have written tell us the various nuances of this town, which differentiates it from the city life that others experience. So this village, or I mean, call it town, this town called Pandipur, every aspect of it is brought out through the young children living in this place. So the story begins with a young boy called Raghav who has moved because of his dad's posting. He has been pushed to a place called Pandipur, which is quite different from what the kind of city life he has experienced. So it was time for his birthday, and like all kids, he wanted to have his birthday party at the Pizza Hut. And having a Pizza Hut, or say Pizza Hut, or call it Domino's, or any of it, wanting it to be there in a very small town, makes it difficult for him. He feels bad that, there isn't a place which is cool enough, which is not his aspirations, or call it his likes, they're quite different. So there is an experience where he understands and connects with the local children, and for them it's not about the big places, it's not about a lot of money. It's about making friends, meeting new people, interacting, playing, happily enjoying without being judgmental. Finding that connection which can link you together instead of any kind of material wants or things that could catch you can hold on to. So that is the first story that we begin with. So it's about the teenagers and how they grow up, how their preferences change, how their approach or attitude towards their sibling starts changing. They want to become more independent. They don't want their sibling to be clinging with them. They want to seem as though they are all grown up. They want to be treated like grown ups. So these are the various aspects or ideas that we see through the book. We see how the people in the small towns know each other, they know of each other's requirements, they help out each other. So, which is quite different from the bustling cities that we have. So, in the city, we really don't have time to bother about what's happening in our a house next to us. We might not know all of them. If one of them are sick, we might not always know it unless they end up telling us. But when it's a small town, the connections and the bonding that people share is quite different. So the experiences children have at their school, the way they approach learning, the way they enjoy little things, the happiness that they get by going around playing with people there, the various life skills that they learn during the process of being a part of this place, the stories they get to hear from the generations before them, dadis and dadas, they belong to everybody. It's not just like my dada, my dadi. So there is a sense of belonging that everybody collectively shares in this book, and it is beautifully brought out, I would say. It's the language is not complicated. It is like with a contextual meaning that students or the kids can easily understand what it means, and especially the names of the children, things they like, the way they behave. It's quite relatable for students or learners or kids at any point. So for a 9-year old, they would totally feel that, all of that they feel, all of that they have been doing is reflecting in the book. And that way, I feel this would really help children to connect better with individuals, even their approach towards our simple kind of life that people live in towns and villages. They would understand that, there is a different sense of simplicity which is involved in such a life, and there are good aspects to it which we can also experience. It's not that it's dull and boring. There are so many things which we cannot experience in a city life. There are forests. We have a mention of a river called Dhund. There is a forest around. There are people who know each other. They work together. They work as a family. They function as a family. So many aspects, very touching ones. There is one chapter which describes about how the people around react to a child experiencing bad touch, and how an adult approaches her and tells her that how she should react to it. She should not be mum. She has to speak it out. She has to be clear and loud that such things cannot happen with me. So she does not blame her. So these are aspects that children experience, their kind of anxiety, fear, and their wants, so many things. So all of that, it's the entire seven story anthology is a culmination of all of these that children experience at such an age. And it can be read out in class, perfectly all right. And even at home, the parents could discuss about the various aspects that is discussed. Ask them if they would want to, for a holiday, probably for about 10 days or to say 15 days, would they want to go to a small town and live and experience the different style of life that people experience there. Like instead of getting a packet of milk, you have the milkman coming home giving you a bottle of milk from which is taken from their own cow. So little aspects. These are very little examples that I'm giving you. The experience is completely different, and for kids who stay way, way, way far from the small towns, definitely at least a chance to know how life is for people around there, how much people value the relationship, the bond, the kind of support people get from each other or they give each other is immense, and it is something that people value a lot. So the title says growing up in Pandipur, and this is talks about all the kids there, all the little things they do. Some experiences are bad, some experiences are good, some experiences teach them life lessons. So it's all about how life, in its real sense, it's beautifully written. There are few pictures, but not many. It has a book that is not difficult to understand. It's easy to connect for a child who's 9 and above. So it's not a complex read. It's a moderate book in terms of level of difficulty. And again, this book, like all other scholastic books that we have reviewed till now, this book is also available on their website. And and there is a whole version. There's a adult version which is growing up in Pandipur with so many more stories. So that is also available if you like this and would like to read the rest. It's a bigger version. This is for the little kids who are in their sixth, seventh standard, fifth, sixth, seventh standard, I would say. So this is, I wouldn't say it was a fun read, but it was something very you can easily connect to. And being a I mean, for a child to pick this up and to read, the uh, the connection will be more than any other sort of book that they read. I mean, it is definitely fiction, but something that gives them an understanding of another world which is not really connected to them. They might not have experienced it, but they'll get a fair idea of how life is, how people live by the backwaters, what is the life like, what is the kind of dependence they have towards all of these resources. How do they function, how do they live, is something that they'll really understand. I'm sure kids will appreciate the little aspects covered by both of these authors, Aditi and Chatura. It's a beautiful work. I highly recommend it to kids, and the parents could also read it. I'm sure you will also enjoy it. But to your 9-year old, please do ask them to check this out, check this book, ask them to give it a read and see how it is. You could let us know if you like the book, if you don't like the book. Let us what are the aspects that did not strike you or did not help your child to connect. We will somehow we'll find out the kind of works that that your children like. Okay, so this is our sixth review, and from the next set of reviews we'll be going to a new publication. And I mean, we have done six of Scholastic, and the rest we will continue with. We'll be exploring different local publishers in the coming weeks. So stay tuned, keep reading, happy reading.